What happens when a single logo redesign sends an entire country into chaos? A rebrand meant to modernize Cracker Barrel, an American restaurant chain known for rocking chairs, comfort food, and nostalgia, ended up becoming a full-blown public relations nightmare. Within days, a wave of outrage hit social media, stocks tumbled, and the backlash grew so intense that it caught the attention of national news outlets and even the White House. This wasn't just a marketing misstep. It became a cautionary tale for every brand trying to walk the tightrope between tradition and innovation. But what went so wrong? And why did a seemingly harmless design tweak feel like a betrayal to millions of loyal customers? To understand this meltdown, we have to rewind the clock over 5 decades. Cracker Barrel was born in 1969 in Lebanon, Tennessee, the brainchild of Dan Evans, a gasoline salesman who saw an opportunity to create something unique along America's growing network of interstate highways. Evans wanted to design a place where travelers could stop for gas and enjoy a hearty, home-cooked meal. He partnered with Tommy Lowe, a longtime friend, to bring this vision to life. Cracker Barrel has restored its classic branding, but questions remain. Will the company double down on tradition, or will it try again to modernize for a new generation of customers? The first Cracker Barrel wasn't glamorous. It was a modest roadside stop attached to a filling station, featuring a small restaurant and a store filled with vintage candy, old-fashioned toys, and rustic decor. Lowe, now 93, still remembers those early days vividly. One little Monday morning, I went to work, and people just became a part of it, he recalled. From day one, Cracker Barrel was different. It wasn't trying to be flashy or modern. Instead, it leaned into nostalgia, evoking the warmth of a country general store from decades past. The name Cracker Barrel itself came from the old barrels of soda crackers that once sat in rural stores, where locals gathered to chat. The logo featured a friendly Uncle Herschel character, an old man in a rocking chair, instantly recognizable and deeply tied to its Southern heritage. Customers weren't just coming for the food, they were coming for an experience. The walls were decorated with antique farming equipment, vintage signs, and Americana memorabilia. The menu featured dishes like biscuits and gravy, country ham, fried chicken, and cornbread, all cooked the old-fashioned way. By the 1980s and 90s, Cracker Barrel had exploded into a national phenomenon, becoming a staple stop for road trips. With over 600 locations today, it's more than a restaurant. It's part of America's cultural identity. And that's what made the recent branding change so shocking. Fast forward to today. Cracker Barrel executives decided it was time to modernize. They unveiled a new, simplified logo, stripping away some of the rustic details and opting for a sleek, minimalist design. The intention seemed harmless. Companies rebrand all the time to stay relevant. But for Cracker Barrel, this move backfired spectacularly. Social media erupted within hours of the new logo's debut. Longtime customers accused the company of abandoning its roots, calling the design corporate, soulless, and even unrecognizable. The old, warm branding that symbolized tradition and comfort had been replaced by something cold and generic. Then the backlash took on a life of its own. Memes circulated mocking the redesign, customers threatened boycotts, and news outlets covered the outrage like it was a national scandal. Even former President Donald Trump weighed in, amplifying the story and pushing it further into the spotlight. And then came the numbers. Cracker Barrel's stock price dropped sharply following the announcement. The company had spent millions to roll out this brand refresh, only to see its reputation and value take a major hit. Within days, executives caved to public pressure. The new branding was scrapped, and Cracker Barrel quickly reverted to its original design. The move was a rare corporate retreat, a sign that the backlash had struck a nerve far deeper than the company ever anticipated. But why did a simple logo spark such chaos? The answer lies in how deeply Cracker Barrel's identity is tied to its customers' emotions. For many Americans, Cracker Barrel is more than a chain restaurant. It's a piece of nostalgia, a time capsule of simpler days. Families have celebrated milestones there. Road trippers have made it a ritual stop, and for many Southerners, it's a symbol of home. The brand's entire appeal is built on tradition. From its rocking chairs lined up outside every store to its old-fashioned country store interiors, everything about Cracker Barrel says timeless. So when executives tried to modernize the logo, it wasn't seen as a harmless refresh. This isn't just about design, it's about trust. Cracker Barrel's customers have an emotional connection to the brand, and any change feels deeply personal. But the logo controversy was just the tip of the iceberg. At the center of the storm was CEO Julie Fels Messino, who had been in charge of Cracker Barrel for almost 2 years at the time of the backlash. Critics accused her of being out of touch with the brand's history and values. Co-founder Tommy Lowe revealed that Messino had never even met him. "She doesn't have any idea who I am," Lowe said in an interview. "I don't think she knows the story." For a company so deeply rooted in its origin story, this disconnect was a PR disaster. It painted a picture of leadership that was more focused on corporate strategy than on preserving the authenticity that made Cracker Barrel iconic. But many longtime fans hated the changes. The updated menu was seen as overly complicated, moving away from the simplicity that defined Cracker Barrel's charm. Customers complained that their favorite dishes were disappearing, and critics accused leadership of trying to turn a beloved Southern comfort chain into a generic corporate restaurant. This costly gamble only added fuel to the fire. By the time the logo backlash hit, many customers already felt like the brand was losing its identity. To understand why Cracker Barrel's rebrand failed, we need to look at nostalgia marketing. Companies like Coca-Cola, Harley-Davidson, and Levi's thrive on their legacy. They don't just sell products, they sell memories. Cracker Barrel's appeal isn't based on innovation. It's based on consistency. Customers know exactly what to expect. The same menu, the same decor, the same rocking chairs. Cracker Barrel's story is part of this same pattern. Heritage brands have to tread carefully when tinkering with tradition. The outrage over Cracker Barrel's new logo grew so quickly that executives had no choice but to reverse course. The company restored its original branding, effectively admitting defeat. In some ways, this quick reversal might actually strengthen customer loyalty in the long run. By showing that they were willing to admit a mistake and revert to tradition, Cracker Barrel may have reminded fans why they loved the brand in the first place. So what can we take away from this meltdown? For a company like Cracker Barrel, its rustic charm isn't a marketing gimmick. It's the very core of its business model. Customers don't go to Cracker Barrel for innovation. They go for comfort and familiarity. And finally, this controversy proves that customers have more power than ever. In today's hyper-connected world, a single unpopular design change can trigger a massive PR crisis overnight.